because although we talked about how he was pretty absent in that first half, I do think he really turned it around in the second half in that game for Catalans and was really integral to Catalans winning that game. So I've gone with Samisoni Lange, although Darrell Clark was the other one I was thinking of, but I didn't want to give it to a player against us.
Fair enough.
Highlight of the week, are you sticking with Joe Wardle wobbling in the wrong direction?
Yeah, I think it's got to be done.
I might go with the fight, the bad blood being realised, and you know, but Wigan showing a bit of team spirit for each other as well in that instance was maybe my highlight of the week. Okay, predictions, Super Rue and Fantasy League updates. So in the predictions, I went 4 out of 6 last week, and Tim went 4 out of 6 last week too. That leaves the percentage success rate as things stand so far this season, with Alan leading the way on 67%, and I'm on 66%, Tim's on 60%. You're at the bottom at the moment, Sarah, on 50%, but you've only had one go around so far, so you've got a lot of chance this week to turn that around.
Yep.
In terms of the Super Brew, no pressure. In terms of the Super Brew, Tim Kilpin. It's a new name on me.
Yep.
He wears the yellow cap and moves to the top of the table as well.
Ooh.
Sarah, though, you and Tom Eckley, you were both big climbers this week. You're up into second and third, respectively.
Yep. London beating Leeds helped me there.
I guess the only one you missed out on then was yours.
Yeah.
In the Fantasy League, Alan Bagley keeps hold of his top spot, and Tom Eckley completes a good week for himself and for Wire fans with a top score of 687. And just to remind everyone, great fan reviews again, as always. Make sure you get those in for us on next week's games. Look out for the Google form post on Twitter and Facebook about 15 minutes or so after the end of most games. Certainly all the Super League games. Make sure you get on those and tell us about any games that you saw. It'd be lovely to hear from some more Salford fans, given the form they're showing, although hopefully we won't need to hear them be in a happy mood next week from my perspective. That is the Super League Round 6 well and truly done with, Sarah. We're now going to move on to other results.
Yep.
Other results now then. So Sarah, we had a Challenge Cup game to catch up on. So do you want to take us through that and then the rest of the domestic results from the weekend?
Yep. So in the third round of the Challenge Cup, Workington beat Siddle 22-0. And then it was round 7 of the Championship, in which Toulouse beat Batley 50-0. It was Dewsbury 13, Sheffield 16. Lee 46, Rochdale 6. Swinton 12, Featherstone 24, Widnes 25, Bradford 20, and Paul got in touch for this one.
Yeah, Paul said, a tough game for the Vikings, but another win. Some strange calls today from Hewer. Thought we had lost it when Bradford went over with 3 minutes to go, but the touch judge gave an obstruction. I've not had a chance to watch this one back on the R-League app, because with all the stuff on Sky yesterday, but sounds like an exciting one anyway.
Yeah. Just on the subject of touch judges, this is completely unrelated, but have you noticed the number of touch judges that are constantly on and off the pitch just by sort of like 3 yards they're running onto the pitch?
It does seem to be something that happens now that I don't remember happening. Like when 20 years ago, they would only come on if there was like a fight or something, wouldn't they really? Whereas now they seem to be almost playing more of an active role in the management of the games with the referees. So
I haven't really noticed it this season, but every match I watch, it seems like the touch judges are like having a bendy touch line that they run up and down.
And it seems like they're almost acting a little bit sometimes like the second referee does in the NRL, because if the ruck's quite close to their sideline, it seems like they're stepping on and telling people to like get off or whatever, and because it seems like they're getting involved quite a lot, or having a close look at the very least at what's going on in those situations. So they are getting more actively involved, I suppose. Do you think that's a good or a bad thing? I think it's quite good.
I'm in favour of it as long as they're like decent and it's applied consistently, you know, and everything else like that.
As long as they're not being like a bit selective of when they do get involved and when they don't get involved.
Yeah, because you always seem to get one touch judge. Can't even think who he is. Who, even if the player's on the other edge of the pitch, he's trying to get on and have an opinion.
I think in the recent past though, haven't we? We've all been quite as a general rugby league fan base, especially at our own games when we want to be shouting for forward passes and offsides and touchy, get your flag up and all that sort of stuff. We've kind of started to feel maybe like the touch judges haven't been actively involved since the communication has moved more towards the radio communication over the last 5-10 years. So maybe this is a way of them demonstrating involvement in the game a little bit more. So
yeah, I mean, I'm not against it.
No.
It's just something that I've picked up on this season.
Good observation. Yeah, it hadn't occurred to me, but I have been noticing it too. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, York beat Halifax 38-16, and Toronto beat Batley 34-12.
Yeah, the rain finally came for that one, didn't it?
I missed it, actually. By then, I was at Wizard of Oz rehearsals.
Did you miss the rain as well, crucially?
Yeah, it didn't. I think if it came, it was whilst I was in the rehearsals.
Whilst you were off to see the wizard.
Yeah, ding dong, the witch is dead. So all of this means that Toronto are first on 12 points, Toulouse, Sheffield and York have 10 points, Leigh, Featherstone and Halifax have 8 points, and Bradford in 8th have 6 points. Dewsbury and Barrow both stay on 3 points, Batley and Rochdale stay on 2 points, and Swinton are still to get off the mark. Widnes move to -2 and can move off the bottom of the table with a win next week.
Yeah, most of the teams in the bottom half of the Championship are quite boring, I agree.
It's like that second half thing. I survived the first half, into the second half, that's it, it's boring me.
Well, what about League One?
So it was round 4, and it saw an 18-all draw between London Scholars and Keighley. Newcastle beat West Wales 56-6. It was North Wales 12, Hunslet 22, and Whitehaven 26, Doncaster 8, which means that Hunslet are top with 3 wins from 3 played. Newcastle head up a list of 6 teams on 4 points, which includes Workington, Oldham, Whitehaven, Daventry, that's a new one, Doncaster and Coventry. Scholars in 8th have 3 points. North Wales and West Wales are yet to get off the mark, and Keighley are bottom on -9.
Okay, it was also the first round of the NRL this week. I watched the 2 games that Sky showed that had the British players involved in it. So I didn't watch this first one. The Storm 22, Broncos 12 to kick the season off. The Knights 14, the Sharks 8. And then it was, I tell you what, they had plenty of rain in these games as well, down under this weekend. It was the Roosters 16, the Rabbitohs 26 at the Sydney Cricket Ground. Sam Burgess grabbed a try in 173 metres before being forced off with, I think, a concussion check late on. And Tom Burgess chipped in with 142 metres as well. Over in New Zealand, a well-timed morale-boosting win, I think, here for the New Zealand Warriors, 40 points to 6 after the horrible events in Christchurch this weekend, and our thoughts obviously go out to all of the people affected by that, and well done to the Warriors for winning so big there.
Yeah, they gave free admission, didn't they, to all people?
Right, okay. To be honest, I wasn't following that closely, but I'm hoping that was rewarded then with a big and supportive crowd and, a morale-boosting victory, like we say. So that's good to see. West Tigers 20, Manly Sea Eagles 6. Then it was the Cowboys 24, the Dragons 12. So not a good start for St George, who've got a couple of English players. James Graham did the double stat whammy of 118 metres and 42 tackles. Gareth Widdop played. He played at fullback in this one. It doesn't sound like he had a great game. It sounds like he made a couple of crucial mistakes in it. So interesting to see how that develops as the season goes on. Panthers 12, Eels 20. So one of last year's higher ranked teams against one of last year's lower ranked teams, so it shows how much things turn around in the NRL as well as in Super League. And then finally it finished with the Titans 0, the Raiders 21. in pretty wet conditions down on the Gold Coast there, and obviously there was 4 English players playing in this one. Ryan Sutton didn't get much of a go. He played the last 10 or 12 minutes or so off the bench and didn't do himself any harm. But the other guys, the other English players were outstanding. Elliot White had 110 metres. Josh Hodgson 1 try assist in this game as well. He controlled things very well. But John Bateman just showed what a world-class player he is. He showed everything that the Wigan Warriors are missing in terms of his sort of relentless effort and endeavour and constant work rate and defensive leadership and all of those great things. And he ended up as well with 5 tackle busts and 154 metres. I think the Aussies are going to start to take him seriously as a great prospect in that competition. And that... Yeah. Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah, did you watch any of the Raiders games?
No, the only thing I saw was John Bateman winding up the opposition.
yeah, when he faked throwing the ball at the guy's head. I think they're gonna love him. They're gonna love him, just like I do, and unfortunately I have to miss him as well now. But that is all the other results taken care of. We're now gonna make our predictions for what's gonna happen next week in Super League and beyond. Round 7 then of Super League this week, Sarah, and as always we get underway in front of the Sky cameras on Thursday night. It's 7:45pm kickoff for Wakefield versus Warrington. So 2 of the current top 5, I think, if memory serves. I'm going to let you have the first go on this one.
Okay, I've gone for Wakefield 16, Warrington 28. Might be a little bit harsh on Wakefield. But I don't think that they'll beat them.
I've gone something similar, actually. I think Warrington will win by 14. Let's say 24-10. Just Wakefield have lost two real strike weapons, so I'm wondering how much try scoring they're going to have against a side that's really impressing me so far this year. Friday night Sky game is been billed as Classy Cast versus the Entertainers. Forget about Bad Blood, and it's third taking on first. 2 of the last 2 League Leaders Shield winners, not champions though. But that is Friday 7:45pm on Sky. I just think St Helens are going too well at the moment. They're too good in defence, and Castleford are good in attack. They can take all the chances. They're also defending them a lot better than they have done probably so far this year. They're defending really well too. I just think Saints have Cast probably haven't played anyone really other than Warrington who can match them for power the way this year's gone so far, but St Helens definitely can. I've got Saints by 8. I'm going to say 18-10 to St Helens.
I've gone for Saints by 6. I've gone 24-18 Saints.
Okay, Friday night 7:45pm kickoff also over at the John Smiths. This one, Huddersfield versus Hull KR. I back and forth over this one, Sarah. What do you think?
Well, neither of them are exactly like scoring a lot of tries, are they?
That's a good point.
I've gone for 12-10 to Huddersfield.
I mean, and both teams are carrying quite a lot of injuries as well, and depleted forward packs for both. But I still don't think that'll open the game up for more attacking rugby. Because
no,
I'm similar to you. I've got Huddersfield by 2 as well in a low-scoring game as well. So we'll see if we're both right there. On to Saturday, another Sky game for us. This time down in the south of France. We'll kick off just after 5 o'clock, and it'll be Catalans hosting one of the crisis clubs, the Leeds Rhinos. I just fancy Catalan. They're carrying a little bit of more positivity into the finishing games, much better than Leeds Rhinos are finishing games as well in the last few weeks, with their wins over Warrington and Hull KR coming late in those games. I've got Catalans by 4. I'm going to say 20 points to 16 for the Dragons.
Again, I sort of thought neither of these are particularly high-scoring teams at the moment. So I've gone Catalan 16, Leeds 10.
Yep. So pretty similar again. Let's see if we go different on this one. Sunday 3pm kickoff. This is the game that you've got most eyes on this weekend. It's London Broncos hosting Hull FC. So I'll give you first dibs on your team.
Yeah, well, I've gone for us 24-16. Hopefully we're going to bounce back after the weekend and beat